Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's frequency meditation from Rio. Hope we had all a good week so far. And tonight is on thinking when we're disconnected. And in fact, we're not really ever disconnected. What happens is that we move. If there's any background noise, Rio de Janeiro is a busy city, so if there's any noise in the background, although with the technologies I can reduce it, just bring it into the meditation. Everything we do here at Space-Time Method is not about having to be isolated in an ashram or a quiet place. We can tune in, and tonight's meditation will show you that. Even if you're in the middle of Rio de Janeiro or Manhattan or London or whatever the situation is, that's true empowerment. So most people have been taught to approach connection to that wholer version of you, spirit, higher self, however we refer to it, universe, as if it kind of lives somewhere else. The language might sound refined, but the instructions underneath has always been the same. Go somewhere, go higher to reach a better version of yourself, or go deeper to find what's hidden. Move inwards, rise above, drop down. Access something beyond this moment. And what happens over time, the body learns that pattern so well, it begins before anything else has even been started. There's this slight forward lean. And as you get attuned, you'll start to observe how even your jaw might just tighten. Eyes begin trying. The chest braces as if it's preparing to arrive somewhere more real than this right now. So let's just take a breath in right now just to get here. And again, even that language, to get here, is not correct. It's not accurate. So let's debunk a lot of this stuff. This is a deprogramming tonight. And that movement has been mistaken for sincerity. It's been called focus, devotion, presence, even mastery. But tonight, let that whole pattern become visible in a different way for you, because what most people have been calling connection has also often has been a very subtle act of leading. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're trained to move in order to find what was actually never somewhere else. And this is a line that matters tonight. You're not disconnected. You're moving. And most of the work I do is continuously saying, let's bring in awareness. We don't need to bring in a connection. We wouldn't be here if we weren't connected to that wholer version of you. But what's lacking is the awareness that we're connected. And by the way, that's intentional. It's not a mistake. It's not that you're getting anything wrong. It's intentional. So we're never disconnected. We don't need to go anywhere. So in fact, taking it even deeper, we never lose clarity. We just replace it with movement. And this meditation is here to make that undeniable, not as an idea, but as something you'll feel happening in real time in your body in the exact moment that old pattern begins. So again, if your eyes are closed right now, just open your eyes, look around that environment around you, that external environment where the skin stops and everything outside. Just observe it. No judgment. Just observe. Oh, this is what I've created. And then close your eyes and come into that inner environment where the skin stops and all the workings inwards. It's a very different environment. This is the one that we always focus on, the external environment. That's a reflection, a consequence, if you like. It's already happened. Most people spend their whole time focusing on changing the external environment that's already been created instead of tuning into that inner environment, which is what is the creation. So just come exactly as you are, and let the idea of arriving soften, for it even has a chance to take hold. We're not arriving anywhere. So you're just here. And just notice what's already happening without changing anything. The moment you begin, the body may have already been doing something. There might be a slight lean forward, and something ahead is going to give you what this moment does not yet contain. The jaw might be holding just enough to feel like effort. Your eyes may be narrowing slightly, just trying to locate something more true. Your chest might be tightening very subtly, just preparing to move away from here towards something better. So we're not here to correct it. We're not here to improve it. Just observe it. See it as it is. Because this is where the shift actually begins for you. And most people have spent years learning this without realizing it. They were shown ways to visualize their way to truth, to rise towards something higher, to drop into something deeper, to travel through themselves in order to find what's more real. And because that language, it sounded meaningful, well, the body followed it. It learned to reach, it learned to prepare, it learned to leave this moment in order to find a better one. That became normal. That became spiritual. And that became trusted. But if you stay honest here, something very sharp begins to show itself. The moment the body starts preparing to go somewhere, this moment gets replaced, not lost, replaced. You don't lose clarity, you replace it with movement. And the only thing that is real, the only access point, if you like, to have that awareness of a wholer version of you is in the present moment. Not a millisecond ahead, not a millisecond behind. Those are all illusions. They don't exist. The only thing that's real is this very moment and you in your body. Just really let that land in the body, not as an idea, but as something you can feel when you start to move. The forehead gathers slightly, the jaw just firms a little bit. As mentioned, your chest braces. What happens is that the body begins organizing around somewhere else. And this is where the first real shift happens. What felt like connection starts to feel different. This feels like connection, but it's actually movement. This might feel like devotion, but it's actually distance. Once that's felt, it becomes very difficult to call it connection in the same way again. So just take a nice deep breath in. Notice the air coming into your lungs. Let's just bring this in for you. So I want to connect with my higher self. What does that mean, higher self? And feel the exact moment the body begins to go somewhere like that. Feel the lean, the brace, the tightening, the trying. What we have often called seeking, it's often been the body just rehearsing departure. So let's just stay with what's just been seen and let it come closer. Because this isn't only happening here, this is happening everywhere. Conversations and relationships, work, healing, and rest, and everything. There's that quiet, if you like, it's like a background frequency just humming. We're so used to it, it's like white noise. But there's this quiet habit of always reaching for a better version of now, a better version of you. There's that subtle refusal of what is already here, dressed up as progress. And this is where the identity becomes visible. This is part of you that believes truth is always somewhere else. It believes clarity is still ahead. It believes the next state will finally hold when this one doesn't. And because of that belief, it keeps moving. It's kind of similar to always being in a dress rehearsal of your own life without ever going on the stage. A lot of people can resonate with that. One day my life is going to start. One day I'm going to fully live. Well, when you start getting to my age, that one day better be soon. So just take another deep breath in and just feel how that identity in the body as it begins to wake up. And you get that deeper meaning as the system leans forward into the next moment before this one's even finished. Get that deeper meaning that actually you're not trying to connect, you're trying to get away from this moment. And that lands differently in the body. It's not harsh, but it's very precise. That small push to improve this moment. There's something more potent, more aha moment in the next moment somewhere else. But once you feel the urge to move beyond it, and once you feel that, the old pattern, well, it can't really stay hidden anymore. Mm-hmm. So as we breathe in and we notice our spine, come into your sphere, that center point behind the eyes, centering you in your body. Expand outwards, that sphere around your body, maybe half an inch around your body, you centered. As we continue to collapse that identity completely. You're not trying to connect. Behind the scenes, what's really going on is you're trying to get somewhere better than here. And every time you do that, you replace what is here with the search for something else. You leave this present moment. But again, it's only in this present moment. That's the only place that we do have access to that connection, that conscious access. We're always connected. But it's that conscious access that have awareness. So just let that sit without turning it into another problem to solve. What replaces it is much simpler than the pattern that just collapsed. Kind of like think of a signal that's already here. It doesn't appear because you travel to it. It doesn't arrive because you reach it. It's already present. What changes is whether the system is moving away from it or not. That's the shift, not travel, not direction, not depth, not height, just whether movement is being followed. I just notice this carefully. The moment you feel that forward lean, that tightening, that sense of trying to get somewhere, don't try to stop it. Let's just don't follow it. Don't go with it. Stay exactly where you are, right here before the movement completes. Because this is different. We don't have to stop the movement. We stop following it. And the moment we don't follow it, something becomes immediately obvious. Nothing new appears. You don't arrive anywhere, but you're no longer leaving. And just notice your spine, you in your spine, in the body. As we stabilize this position in the body, so we don't connect by going somewhere. We actually connect by no longer leaving. So the moment you stop following the movement, you're already here. Feel that. Stay here in the simplest way possible. Again, without turning this into something to maintain, just let the body stop rehearsing departure. Let the eyes be here without searching. The jaw here without trying. The chest here without preparing to leave. Feel how different that is. Not as a concept, but as a physical reality. You observe the forehead stops softening because it no longer is hunting. The breath settles because it's no longer being managed. Your nervous system stops organizing around a future moment and just begins resting in this one place now. Mm-hmm. And let's bring this into the rest of your life. Perhaps you can see it when someone's speaking and part of you is already preparing what to say next. You see it when you check your phone and before one thing has even landed, something is already reaching for the next. You're at work and the system's already leaning into what comes after this instead of it being exactly with what it is here. Relationships. When the moment itself is not being met because something is already moving towards reassurance or control or towards a better version of what's happening. Even when everything is actually fine, there's still something in you that starts adjusting it, improving it, moving it, as though this moment needs to become something else before it's enough. And then coming back to our meditation. You see it, the instant the mind starts waiting for something to happen, something to open, something to deepen, to get that aha moment, as though this moment needs to turn into another one. And it's here that we're really revealing tonight. And get another deep breath in. You being in your body right here, right now. Nowhere to go. Let's look at the spiritual version. This is where it hides the most cleanly, by the way. A person says they're reaching their higher self. But what's actually happening is they're leaving the simplicity of what is here because this doesn't feel elevated enough. A person says they're looking for guidance from their guides or their higher self. But what's really happening is they're moving away from not knowing. You might find yourself when you listen to one of these meditations or a transmission, and it's really, instead of hearing what's being said, something inside leans forward to get something, to receive something, to arrive somewhere through the moment instead of being in the moment. Even when a person mentions they're connecting to source, but that movement underneath, it's really a quiet rejection of this exact moment, as though connection must be somewhere else, somewhere higher, somewhere more powerful than what's already here for you. And this is the shift. You're not going to your higher self. You're leaving yourself and calling it that. You're not reaching somewhere greater. You're actually moving away from what's already complete. Even trying to connect. You're not trying to connect, you're trying to get out of this moment. It's not enough. So just feel how often this begins even before anything has happened. Whether it's in conversations, relationships, decisions, work, practice, the system starts reaching for a better version of now. And now that we've uncovered it, brought it to the surface, you can feel it, you'll start to see it much sooner. And this is the part that changes everything. You can still move. You can still create. You can still act, decide, build, respond, still fully engage in life. But it becomes incredibly difficult to do it unconsciously once you've seen this. The moment it begins, you feel it, the lean, the brace, the subtle departure. And that awareness is enough. That recognition cuts it before it builds. And this is not just about the spiritual journey or meditation. This is the one movement running through everything, actually. People are leaving conversations this way, leaving relationships this way, leaving their own body this way, leaving ordinary life this way, always reaching for something better, something deeper, something more complete. While missing the fact that the reaching is the thing replacing what was already here. I've referred to in other transmissions about you want to be aware of the movie you're in. Most people, because of their filters, their programs, they're not aware of their movie that they star in, by the way. They're in some other theater down the hallway, watching another movie that's not theirs, and they certainly don't star in it. And that sometimes can be disguised as being in the dress rehearsal of your own show. But when do you get to actually perform your own show? You again being the star. So just take another breath in. Just let that final recognition really settle without effort. And notice what's here when you're not moving. Not as an idea, not as something even to understand. Just right here before anything changes. Nothing's been added or improved or arrived. And yet there's no sense of missing anything when you're truly in the moment here. And let's just stay here and feel that directly. This is part of deprogramming. And on a broader, wider lens, you are everything all at once. There is nowhere to go to get anything. The deprogramming comes in when we take away the interference that we think we need to leave our body or to leave this present moment for a connection to happen, for that awareness of that connection to happen. And it's the opposite. I'll leave everybody here. Stay here a little longer on your own. See what comes to you. And I'll see everyone next week back in Vancouver.